Okay, so I forgot to push record at the beginning of our meeting, so I want to make sure you have the same information about the structure of the class. I'm going to pull up the document. So I should tell you a little bit about the structure of this class. So I'm running research as always. So there's two treatment conditions, Section 5 and Section 6. And we're doing it with a flipped classroom. So the flipped classroom, let me back up a little bit. So there's two steps to instruction. So one is the content attainment. That's when the students learn what they're supposed to know for the class. And then the second is concept application, where the students use that knowledge to do stuff with it. And so content attainment is normally what you're used to seeing in class with a lecture where they teach the material. A lot of instructors actually skip the concept application because they don't realize that if you teach a student, like let's say you do the natural selection activity, we give them a piece of scrapbook paper and a bunch of little dots, and they pick the dots off as if they were a predator, and you see natural selection in action. But once you learn that, then most instructors just move on. But I try to make them apply it so that it's not contextually specific, that natural selection doesn't just work with dots on scrapbook paper, but it works with pocket mice, and it works with turtles, and it works with humans, and so we give them a lot of examples for application. So those are the two phases of instruction that I do. In a normal traditional classroom, these non-flipped classrooms, you do the attainment in class, and then you go home and you do homework to apply it. In the flipped classrooms, you would just shift that so that they would do the attainment outside of class and then they do the application in class. We're not actually doing any of the flipped ones this semester, I've already done them, but we are going to do the two non-flipped classrooms. So Section 5 is this teacher-centered attainment, and Section 6 is the student-centered attainment. And the main difference there is the teacher-centered attainment is what you're normally used to seeing, where the teacher sort of stands up in front, the teacher's the center of attention, and they're teaching the material and hoping that you're getting it. And while that's not terrible, it's not the best way to do it, research shows. So the student-centered attainment is where you actually just set up the environment and let the students attain from it, that you let the students learn, kind of construct for themselves what the information is. And that's normally how I teach, is the student-centered. But for this research project, I've done all the treatments but that one teacher-centered treatment, and my colleagues at UVU have already done it. And so it's my control group. And I'm struggling just a little bit with it, that I don't think it's going to be better, but I don't know until I collect the data. And I'm trying to make it the best lecture possible. So I'm not going to just sit there and drone on in a monotone. I'm just going to, but they're not going to actually do the activities and construct it for themselves. I'm going to tell them about the activities and sort of help them synthesize it, but with more teacher guidance. So I guess that's the difference. So Section 5, I'm going to stand up there and do PowerPoints and explain these activities. But there will be times where I will pause and say, I want you to think about this, and that's when UTAs will jump up and talk to people. But we're not going to do a lot of student-to-student interaction. We will do clicker quizzes to help them really think about it. So I'm going to try to help them be metacognitive about their learning, but not a lot of interaction with other students. In the Section 6, which is the student-centered, treatment 1, Section 6, they will be actually doing the activities I'm talking about. So I'm going to give them the scrapbook paper and the dots, and they're actually going to do it and try to construct it for themselves. Now the nice thing is, the teacher-centered is what they're expecting. That's what they like, and they often request that, even when I'm doing the student-centered. So I don't think we're going to get a lot of kickback from that. We get more kickback from the student-centered. And then, when they go home, they're all going to do the same homework assignment. So between TAs, it's all the same between sections. They go home and they do this homework assignment that helps them apply what they learned in class. All right, so in section, if you're a TA for Section 5, Section 5 is the teacher-centered, you're mostly in class going to be walking around and talking to individual students when I ask them to think about things. If you're in Section 6, excuse me, the student-centered, you're going to be running like crazy all class because they're going to be doing activities and it's going to be chaotic and loud and you're going to be answering questions and talking to groups. So that's the main difference in the course structure. And then the rest of the video I talked about the nitty-gritty details, but I forgot to push play on this part, right?
I mean, if you took one for me, well, you can talk about like something like Or you talk about like Darwin, just like his ideas in one class, but like it wouldn't be like evolutionary biology, it'd be like but it'd be like the same ideas. Okay, so like for me, 100, it's like introduction, introduction. So you have to have like 50, right? That was also introduction. What appealed to me is 101.
So some people will probably just do that.
Well, there should still be a bio class, a bio study that should still exist. We make it for lives.
That's easy. You like biology and medicine. I feel like a lot of people go to medical school take biology. Like a lot of like biology you deal with that. What a bug wants. What a bird wants.
Yeah, that was
Well, there's a list of learning outcomes that students will need to know. So there's a few key things like climate change, evolution, central dogma that will make sure it's taught. But
I'm sure you guys
it's
have the same
taught.
thing
So
here.
like, if I was doing evolutionary doctrine, then I would
The course is just
make sure that
introduction,
I
and
teach
just like
central
something
dogma,
super
transcription,
cool. So like,
I do it
here's
from
like
a
this
this
one
is
of
why
the
this involves
introduction to
this,
artificial
that's
intelligence,
another
right? But like,
That's a good
if it were just like,
Sorry, I was like, we're no, I hear
but I think when you say like principles, like pretty blind up of it, like introduction or
I like the game of life.
All there.
or something like that, right? Like it doesn't seem like it's
Yeah.
intimidating to kids who have cool. My knowledge. Yeah, exactly.
Other ideas, you guys have some ideas and titles?
But introduction to life, right?
Just give
We
me
have
some titles.
a couple.
What, yeah, Zach.
The game of life, living 101. What a bird wants.
What is that going to be?
We were thinking like biology.
Students and
We can talk about life.
You're already talking about life. Okay.
So
Other ideas? Yeah, Dan.
So, what interests me the most when you're doing classes like genome stuff and DNA, so something like introduction to computing,
Okay, yeah. And I think
introduction to some other cool name for like DNA.
Yeah, he said, I like what he said because he was like,
Cool, that's good.
I like because he said like when you start, like there are some classes that have introduction to and then some really like deep concept. And most people feel way more comfortable getting into something like that when it's not the full, like they're not going to do all of it. It's going to be like introduction to, and it makes them more like, oh, we're gonna, you know, learn the basics here. It's not going to be super in depth, but if I'm interested in it, then I'll still go for it.
And we're still going to try to give it, it's still going to be a general biology class with coverage. But like if I did the human disease one, then all the topics, I would approach it from a human perspective. Just so you see it.
In the titles, I just make sure you specify exactly what the emphasis is going to be. Because if it's a vague title, it doesn't know
Yeah.
immediately what their focus is going to be on, and then just your own. That's what like SIP classes at the beginning when you're trying to like stuff.
Because
That's when I was
classes
like, this is like so general. I don't want to take this. It just to let somebody else from taking it. So
That's a good point.
I think a problem though is that a lot of the kids that would be interested in medicine or interested in a lot of the stuff are going to be taking bio 130 or bio 120.
That's true, yeah.
So
So we're trying to capture the non-biology crowd. So that's hard to ask with you guys, but more often interest the non-biology crowd. Okay, well think about it more. If you think of something really cool, let me know. I am going to pull the bio 100, but I wanted to give them like a clicker quiz that actually has some options there. All right. Okay, so because we're running research and we're actually running, we're running 2 studies in the Bio 100. So they will have 2 permission forms to sign, and I think what I'll probably do, I think I'm going to do it on the second day of class, is I'll just have the script up on the, what you call it? That. Up there, and then I just need someone, though I can't be in the room when they sign the permission forms, so I need someone in each section to take the gathering. Is that both sections? You're in 5, are you? Like you're in 5 too? Okay, alright. Alright. Wait, who wants here? So randomly so the setup of the class, well, and I'll show you that in a minute, but the apply, oh, maybe I'll show you it. Okay, did you guys all get onto Canvas? Yes? No, Danny, yes?
I just have that on here, just have classes.
Okay. Okay, so this is our Canvas site. And both of them look pretty much the same. Okay, so if the students go to the Canvas site, hopefully you played around with it a little bit. If not, here it is. So the pre-assessments, these are for the research. This is so I can assure the groups are equally matched, right? So sometimes you get just random assignment of people that are like super brainy in one section and not as super brainy in the other. And that can affect performance on the exam scores that we're going to compare at the end, and so we want to make sure they're equally matched. So I give them the Lawson Classroom Test of Scientific Reasoning. It's just a logic test, and it is super duper duper predictive of their scores in science classes. So they need to go take that, and we just then throw it into some covariate in their analyses. They need to go take that in the testing center. I will announce it in class if the students are asking what the heck is this, and in order to give the final in the testing center, we have to have one of your exams in the testing center. You can sort of exams are open book and open note and online. I put this one in the testing center. So those are the days for that. They just need to go in and take it. There's no study required. They just go in. It's really just a logic test. But it's a science logic test. And if you guys want to take it, you just let me know how else.
Is it graded for completion or is it like graded?
It's just graded for completion. Yeah. I don't tell them that unless they ask, but I want them, and then I tell them I can tell if they're guessing. If they just go in and do AAA, that's how I do. So, we want them to try, but it is just completion. Okay, and then the next section, the modules, expected learning outcomes, that's what's in your packet, so there it is available to the students. The homework and answer keys and the TA and instructor notes is going to refer them to Learning Suite. So because I'm using Canvas as a free program, because we support Canvas, I'm using Learning Suite as our repository for files, because we don't have any storage on Canvas. But Learning Suite is such garbage that I don't use Learning Suite for the rest of the months. Fails, all of that. So I'll show you those in a second. The who should I email? We'll get to that in a second. The student packet is here. They're going to buy it at the bookstore, but if they want an electronic version, I noticed last semester everyone now has these tablets that they can write on, which I know you're like, anyway, so they wanted an electronic, so it's there. And then every day of class, they will have a module page. So they're going to come to class, and both sections are the same. They're going to come to class, learn the material, either actively or not actively. And then they go home and they take this. So this is the Day 2 Explore Assessment. So that is, it's a little short, 7 to 12 question quiz to see if they learn the learning objectives, right? And so what we're encouraging students to do, and it's written in there when they click on it, but they're supposed to take the first attempt, close book, close note, just see how much they learn. And I tell them it's fun. It's like a quiz for you. Did you learn what you're supposed to in class? So they take it, and they get their score, and then they can take it again and again as many times as they want with their notes and to get 100%. We want them to get 100% by the time they finish, but we're measuring two things for the research. One, how much did they glean initially without cheating and going back and looking? And two, how many attempts did it take them to figure it out? So that's why we want them to do that. So they're going to go home from class, and that's the first thing they're going to do. And then the second thing they're going to do is the homework. So this is the apply. Now, for both packets, I put in to your packet that I gave you the homework assignment answer key, if there is one. Some of them are like, give me your opinion on, because there's not an answer key. But I used to like day 1 is just intro such a thing, but then day 2 you will have the homework keys. So that's when you're going to see students the most, is when you're helping them with homework, doing office hours or doing your weekly review. So I would like each of you, to do a weekly review time. Now, if some of you want to partner up and do it that time, you just want to give enough times available so that all students can attend when they want. So it's 1 hour a week that you just cover the previous week to that point, and that's when and I would I'm gonna encourage students, hey, do your homework with a TA, or do your homework and then check it with the TA during that hour. So just plan that hour into your schedule, and if we have 6 of them, we might have a time that everyone can attend. Yeah.
So is that review kind of like us reteaching it, or is it just kind of like, I'm just gonna stand in front and let everybody just kind of ask questions or do their homework?
It can be whatever you want. Yeah, normally, yeah.
Do you want a difference in those TA review sessions between section 5 and section 6, since one's a control group?
So no, because it should be that they're covering the exact same material. So it should be the same. The only thing you want to avoid is saying, like, remember how we had the dots in class and we were doing that activity? Because of, depending on your section. So you just want to avoid referencing a particular activity in class. But otherwise, no, they should be the same. It's the same learning outcomes for both classes. It's the same homework assignments for both classes. And it's the same material. Like, I literally am just going to say the same things, which is why I'm teaching the lecture first. So I know what I've said. So when I do it active, I'm going to make sure I say it. Yeah.
So, just to offer some advice.
Yes, because you've done this before.
Yeah, so
And the
last
student.
time, that's how I would do the review, is just like, so what questions you guys have, right? And students typically dislike that a lot, which I also dislike in other classes, right? Because at the time of going to the review, they don't have on the top of their head everything that we covered that week. And so I mean, now looking back, I would just go through the learning objectives and be like, hey, does everyone understand this point? And then just go through the list, and then that gives them like,
Not the big deal, like,
yeah, oh, that topic, I didn't understand that, well, whatever. Because if you just say, hey, what questions you guys have, a lot of them aren't even going to know what they don't understand going into reviews. That's just my.
And then, yeah, if you've done it before, any of us, what advice?
Simple minor reviews, I would just have them take out the learning objectives so they would actually physically look at that while I was
Make
teaching
sure
stuff.
they have that.
Right. And also, simple learning objectives are just don't know what they're saying. So you can just like, oh, this is what this one means. Like, it's just the words for them.
Okay, so, yes, you, and like, have you done week therapy? Did you do week therapy before too?
It was mostly like ridiculous exams, but.
Yeah, so definitely, you know, if we're coming up on an exam week, make sure you're going through what they need to know for the exams. Now, you have access to see the exams, please do not teach to so you're to focus on learning outcomes, right? But do, I mean, offer, yeah, you guys work on the homework, any questions about the homework assignments? They're doing the homework, the homework and the quiz are due before the next class period. So you're not gonna see them in time to go over all the homeworks before they're due, right? Because 2 of them will be due before you can see them, and then the 3rd one. But once it passes the due date, the answer key will post on Learning Suite, and so you can go through that and say, hey, did you check your answers? Do you understand how to do these homework problems? Okay, so that would be, so if you want to think about a time, it would be nice if you knew that time by Monday. If not, we'll do it Wednesday, but I'm going to have you introduce yourselves in class on Monday, a little about you, something to remember you by, and then post, these are my office hours, this is when I'm doing my weekly reports, so students can start doing their own schedule. And we'll advertise them every day. So every day in class, I put announcements up on the board of what's due, what they're going to do after class, and the weekly reviews. The TAs usually write down their weekly reviews, so you can get students to come, right? So if you're having on that date, write it down on the board. So you, one board I'll just have reserved always for whatever announcements you want to put up there. Okay. All right, questions about that? That's the structure of the class. And then you'll see when the apply assessments come up, they're in the same place. So here we go. So they're going to do the explore assessment, the homework, and then they're going to do the apply assessment. And this is a little practice. Right? So the apply assessments, they're a little different than the other 2 links because the apply assessment they can only take 1 time. You can't take it multiple times. It is open book, open note. I don't know why I said book, open note. But they have 1 hour to take it. So it's the only one that's time. It's 1 hour, 1 attempt. And I will like pound them in the class. It's 1 hour, 1 attempt. Once they see it, that's it. Okay. Okay. So that's the schedule of the class. If we go to Learning Suite, So I'm running a research project in Y100, and I have to administer surveys to all the different Y100 classes, and I ask them all to give me access to their room suite. And evidently nobody puts their name on it, they just leave the generic title. So I have no idea who any of these are, but anyway, it's obnoxious. It's what it is. Okay, but mine have titles, so I have to. So this is our learning suite page. Really, the only thing you're doing on here is content. So under the content tab, you can see, so there's homework and answer keys. And I've got it set up so that whoever's in charge of this, you're going to post it, and then you can schedule when it's going to show up for students who want to show up after deadline. So this is where, and then TA and instructor notes. So anything I write on the board, you're going to take a picture of and post it. Okay, so we'll get to that in a second. So, so the apply assessments. We're not doing anything crazy. We're not doing anything crazy with review sessions. I haven't analyzed that data either, so I don't know what's better. Shame on me. So we are just going to do however you want. But they have, so students have from the time the apply assessment ends to the time the next one opens. They can come during your weekly review or your office hours, probably your office hours, they don't go through it. They can go through anything they missed, and by doing that, you can give them one question that they missed back. That's how we're going to do it. And you can just go in and put it right in their score. Just bump it, one point. Yeah.
Is there someone who would have to record it so that they don't hit up like different TAs? It's a saying. Thinking like a freshman.
I would have not thought to do that. So I am going to have one of you as your assignment is as soon as the apply assessment closes to download the scores in their raw form for my research. So then when it gets changed by TA, we can compare them. So that's the only thing I can do. Maybe we can find out. Yeah.
If you do it, are you doing grades for the research?
No, it's on campus, and it doesn't record when it changes.
Well, because I know in Learning Suite they have like a little box where you can write like type little like notes. So what I would always do is I'd do like, oh, -1 for this, -2 for this, and I kind of tell them why they missed points and they give them their score. But if a TA were to go through, they could do +1,
And
came
then
in for a
write the
review, and then if
notes.
any TA was going to do it again, they'd go through and see that somebody already had it.
That might be in Canvas. I don't know. So let's check that out. So, but that's our policy note. So we'll figure that out as we go. Weekly TA meetings will be Fridays at 12, and I will figure out what room, but I need somebody who, anybody scheduled room in the LSB before? That's your Tom.
Yep.
Tom. Can you be in charge of scheduling us out 2 weeks?
Totally.
Okay, thank you.
Does it matter what room?
Nope.
Second floor?
Just
top
enough to
room?
fit 11 of us. So I
The
need to
rooms
figure.
are built for the
Yeah, so in the LS, like little conference rooms,
Oh,
like
yeah. Gotcha.
6, yeah. So just go to the big one. Perfect, thank you. Okay, so these are the assignments we need to fill out. What time is it? Okay, we're going fast. So these are the things that need to happen on sort of a weekly basis. So I'm gonna put one each, there's 6, conveniently there are 6 assignments. So you can pick which one you want. So the first one is, oh, and I gotta go grab the thumb drive still. Okay, the first one is to upload Qualtrics surveys and paste the link in Canvas. Go in and close them out here. Okay, so I sent out instructions, didn't I? Okay, so that's one of the instructions. So really only one of you needs to be doing that. And I will give you a thumb drive so you can go grab it to download all the Qualtrics links. So I have not done that yet, which means that none of the links in Canvas are actually correct except for the first one. So we need to be doing that right. So you can do it actually all right now and be done, or you can do it as you go along. It doesn't matter. Okay? The next assignment is to be the homework person. So you're going to go to Learning Suite and post a day, and you're going to put on the PDF of the homework assignment, which you can get from Qualtrics, and the answer key, but it should post after the due date. And again, that's something that you can load it all right now for the semester because they all exist already. Or you can do it as you go along. It doesn't matter because you can schedule when it will appear to students. Okay, and that was one of the instructions. The next one is the notes person. So anytime I write on the board, you just are sort of paying attention in class and you pull out your smartphone and you take a picture of what I write in class. Or if we just had a discussion, I didn't write it down, you might just jot down, hey, here's some things that you covered in class. Because then sometimes I go and I erase it, so you sort of have to be on your toes. Take a picture. This is I don't pay attention. I try to be like, okay, I'm going to erase this, did somebody get a picture of it? And then you're going to post that on Learning Suite right after class. So anybody who missed their go-to. They can just go online and look at the notes. So we can do that. Supplies only applies to section 6. So let me just make it up easy here. And that's, but you can sign up for that in section 5 and help get supplies from section 6. And that will be, I'm gonna just load a cart and have it outside my office and just have to go grab it and bring it to class. And it would be nice if it didn't show up until section 6, because I just don't want any of that. In the next class. I think you had it, Jen. Yours, okay, I always had tons of supply of it. Yeah. And then in charge of clickers and attendance, so we do iClickers periodically throughout the semester. We're gonna try to do it a little more frequently, and we get attendance rather than just 7, which was terrible last time. And just getting people at register for iClickers and getting on, we give you the data that you don't ever. And then the last one is you're in charge of the apply assessment. So you're going to preview it before it opens to make sure that all the pictures are there and there's not something funky going on. And then as soon as it finishes, you're going to download the data and compile it. So that if TAs start adding ones in, I don't need to figure that out. All right, so if anybody has a preference, yeah, add a little bit.
I can do the PDFs if I'm working answer keys, because
And are you in section 5 or 6? Danny, you're doing one of each. Danny, you want to choose one of each class? Maybe you do surprise because you're in both.
I would just have to run back to the office. That's
In
fine.
between classes.
Yeah. Which would ensure that doesn't get there.
There. Yes. What do you want to
In
which
section
section are you
6,
Okay.
I could be in charge of the iClickers.
do? Okay. Yeah, John.
I'll do the homework and answer keys for our section 6.
Like,
Clickers for section 5.
Tom. No. Spencer.
I can do the preview of apply assessments.
In
Section
5 or
six.
you're 6?
Do that for 5.
I can take notes for 6.
This one?
Yeah.
Qualtrics.
Qualtrics. I do 5 or 6. Oh. Sorry, it's good right. Qualtrics. And who did I miss? Oh. Sarah. Who else is not here? Who did I miss?
Cody?
Oh, Cole. Cole. Okay. What is this? All right. Oh, this is backwards. Never mind. That solves it. Okay. Sweet. Okay, so then grading. The homework has to be graded, and it has to be graded by hand because most of the stuff they type in is free response. And it would be nice if that got graded in a timely fashion so that students can see how they did. Although the answer keys are going to post so they can check themselves. So not bad concern we're doing give them credit. So there's 2 options. Either we can trade off, so we just rotate through the 6 of you, you're in charge of 1, 2, 3, 4, and you just grade all of them in your section for that one assignment. Or we can assign you each 30 students and you always grade their work. Preference? I don't know. Like I've heard both because like sometimes.
I'd say 30 students.
The 30 students? Okay, because we did it the other way last time because it was easier once you get in your head what the answers are to just do all of them. But we need 30 students? Okay. I will divide that up and just assign you.
176.
No.
That would be fresh.
I know that's true. Ugh. That actually will be good because then they'll get to know like who can read, can even say, who's grading too. So if you have a problem with grading, we'll talk about that. Okay, so then who should students email? So I'm going to sort of assign, so Qualtrics issues I'm going to give to Wesley and Cole. So that means that they can't log in, if they can't, or they log in, they have to submit, or all kinds of weird stuff. So, the class notes, I'm going to put you in charge, let's see, Sarah and Zach. So like if it's not there, and they're like, what, I want it, we can call you, or email you. Homework and answer keys, that's Landon and Tim. iClicker and attending, okay, oh, that was easy. Form, apply assessments, grades. And really, you're probably just gonna come to that, I have to ask you. Okay. Can you just hang out here for like 2 minutes while I run up to the office and get that stupid up right that I forgot?
And I'm going to stop this.